Sexual desire is a topic that is commonly misunderstood by Muslims. In fact, when Muslims hear the term sexual desire, having thoughts or feelings of interest in sexual activity or gratification, the word haram often comes up. In fact, many Muslims place the concept of sexual desire into the infamous haram box. Oftentimes, Muslims believe that even having thoughts or feelings of sexual desire is haram or religiously impermissible. They feel that sexual desire, therefore, needs to be repressed. This concept of repressing sexual desire is not one that comes from the Islamic tradition. Nowhere in Islamic scripture will you find this concept of repressing sexual desire. It will take a whole nother video to explain where this concept of repressing sexual desire comes from. As a hint, we probably have Sigmund Freud to thank for that. When we look at some of the greatest scholars of Islam from the tradition, such as al-Ghazali, we actually find that nowhere in his texts does he talk about repressing sexual desire. Instead, this concept of balance and equilibrium is a theme that comes up over and over again. Imam al-Ghazali even talks about the notion of sexual desire being unbalanced within our soul. And there can be too much of it. There can actually be too little of it. And so this idea of balance and equilibrium is so important. When we think about Islam, Islam is a religion of moderation. And so this idea of balancing sexual desire actually fits in incredibly well with the overall theme of Islam, which is one of moderation. Now you're probably asking, well, okay, Samira, if Islam talks about balancing sexual desire, how do I do that? That's a really good question. We can actually look at the Islamic tradition for that answer. For example, in Imam al-Ghazali, Disciplining the Soul and Breaking the Two Desires, he offers a lot of ideas about balancing sexual desire. First of all, you'll want to gain an awareness of where your sexual desire is at. In today's day and age, it's 2022, we'll want to think about what we're exposing ourselves to, what content we're consuming online, what we're listening to, who we hang around, what we talk about, what we allow our senses to take in. We'll also want to think about the type of lifestyle that we lead. We know from the Islamic tradition that our stomach is closely related to our genitals and our sexual desire. So what are you consuming? What does your diet and nutrition look like? What does your physical activity look like? Are you getting enough sleep? Are you getting enough time for self-reflection? Are you able to build in spiritual practices? Are you getting enough outdoor time? The way we live our lives strongly influences our body, mind, and soul, and so the way we live can in fact impact sexual desire. So number one, think about the presence of sexual desire within yourself. Number two, remind yourself that feeling or thinking sexual thoughts is not haram in and of itself. We are not judged for thoughts and feelings. We are judged for our actions and behaviors. And in fact, there's a lot of religious text that talks about the struggle against our thoughts and feelings so that we don't act upon it and the rewards that can be given as a result. And so we can see this theme of struggling against ourself, struggling against our soul. That is our greatest jihad, our greatest struggle, is a constant theme within the Islamic tradition. In addition to learning about sexual desire within ourselves, we also really need to educate ourselves about our Islamic tradition. Oftentimes, sexual desire is, again, labeled as haram. So we create this box and limitation, not really allowing ourselves to learn, partly because a lot of us don't trust ourselves to learn. We have to remember that when information is obtained for the right purposes and Allah is centered in your intentions, then inshallah, gaining beneficial knowledge will result in a turning of the heart, and that is what we want when we are working on our soul, for example, when we're trying to balance out sexual desire. If you are looking for more information about this topic or anything else related to sexual health for Muslims, I strongly encourage you to follow me on social media at Sexual Health for Muslims. I will soon have an online course and toolkit being released on this topic of sexual desire. In addition, September 9th is World Sexual Health Day, and I will be hosting a 1-hour webinar talking about the Islamic tradition of the soul and sexual health. So check it out using the link in the description below, and I look forward to seeing you all then.